Hello everybody, and just here, and welcome back to Majo to Yajuu, episode 6. Yeah, episode 6, midway through the season. This one is late, and I think episode 7 is already out, so I'm gonna be delayed a little bit. I was sick the entire week, essentially, so everything just got kinda delayed, but we are here, finally, with episode 6. In a previous episode, we finished the arc of Johan and Fanora. At least their first arc. I don't know if they're going to be reappearing or not. That remains to be seen. But we finished the arc of the rogue necromancer, right? We found that necromancer. We learned that he's doing all of it for his beloved, or not really. He's doing it just for himself and for beauty. Didn't really matter that it was his beloved, because he wanted to use Fanora's body, so right, he only cared about beauty, which is ironic because he was quite ugly himself. He was of course very easily defeated. All of his minions were as well, by Fanora, who summoned her Death Knights, and by Johan, who himself is an undead, but a very special breed of an undead. He's the witch's undead. He's the witch's familiar, because Fanora, indeed, is a witch, apparently. And apparently a trait of a witch are those like yellow cat eyes and the weird squiggly tattoo on their arm, which is very interesting because Ashaf has the squiggly tattoo and Guido has the yellow eyes. Could they have something to do with the witches, I wonder? And yeah, the necromancer was defeated, and he became the undead that Fanora created, so he's Fanora's minion now, and he's been tasked with just keeping all the other undead alive, while Fanora will be supplying him with magic. That way all those people are not consigned to the void. That's the detail that we learned in the previous episode about the undead. When you die, you go back into the cycle of rebirth. If you get resurrected by a necromancer, you are ripped out of that cycle and you cannot return to it. So when you die as an undead, only the void awaits you. No sensations, complete sensory deprivation, and you just float around as a bodiless consciousness. Yeah, not fun. Very much not fun. And what else? The police officer now can be with his fiancée again. So kind of sort of good ending for them, right? And in today's episode, we're gonna meet Meguca, I believe that's his name on the list of characters. I don't know if we're gonna follow another odd pair or trio or quartet or however many characters. Are we going back to Guido and Ashaf? I don't know. All this time I was pretty much certain that we're just going to be following Guido and Ashaf. That seemed like a very safe bet. But now I'm not sure if maybe we're gonna start building other characters as well. And for some time we're gonna have like a parallel storytelling, right? A couple of episodes of Guido and Ashaf, couple of episodes of Fanora and Johan, couple of episodes of someone else, and they will be like intertwining, merging, and for the big finale, all of them are going to fight the big Uber Witch, or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I really thought we're gonna have a very limited cast, but apparently that cast will grow, and I wonder for what purpose, and I wonder to what ends. So I guess we'll see that. Yeah, I think that does it for the intro. So yeah, we'll see that, and to see that you will need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want them monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 6 of Majo to Yajuu in 3, 2, 1, go. New MacGuffin. Equites consecrati. Right, we heard of the paladins. I quote, witch burning. Namely, we will learn that, I guess. So, are we just going to be following some people from the Paladin Corps in this episode, in this arc, rather? I wonder. It would mean that we are really like expanding the cast. Yeah, here's the tattoos. There's a lot of Guido and Ashaf in the opening for how many other characters we follow. I mean, so far it's only been Fanora and Johan, and right now it's only my theory that in this arc we're gonna be following someone else entirely, but still. Right? They have been like relegated to just this tiny little segment of the opening. Fanora and Johan, then we see a couple of scenes from their story, and then we see Matt. Oh, okay. Hello, Guido. I don't suppose those are the books that you've read. Nice Monstera. Meat. And he doesn't give a fuck. Never. He never gives a fuck. I really like Ashaf. Oh, the black envelope. uh, and I forgot to wear the fucking earring again. Oh. Hmm. Okay, so I guess we're gonna be fighting against the paladins. What the fuck is going on here? That's a different style to them, a very different style to them. They. Where is Guido and Ashaf? Who the fuck are you, skinwalkers? Who the fuck are you lot? What happened to the art all of a sudden? Hmm. Okay, that's cool. Hmm. Okay, was that scene just outsourced to a different studio or something? Now, this is the art that I'm used to. I guess they're running out of budget or something? I don't know, man. Okay, now we're back. Now we're back. Thank you. I guess the witch lives in this palace and she's just the winter witch or something. Or is this like how the paladins arrive to the site with a floating castle? Could be. Why are your people impaled? Oh, a priest with a beard. Helsing taught me to not trust this kind. Yep, holy church is usually anything but holy. Or he's working with the witch, wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Okay, so yeah, it is essentially their mobile base. That's cool. That's really cool. Just bring your HQ with you. How do we get in then? Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Glad to have you with us, Ashaf. Huh. I guess the witch is attacking? Is that the witch? It is the witch. That's a nice sword you have here. And I guess you can duplicate it. Or clone it. Okay, so they're just some sort of like proxies. Seekers, gotcha. Ultima. I guess that's the tattoo that multiple witches have had so far. Hmm. Right, she does carry a case with her. By the witch or by Guido? Probably Guido and Ashaf. Guido. Oh, now she's using a brass knuckles. Probably not. Fair. Are you sure? Also, Guido isn't really escaping, is she? She's on the offensive. Hello, Ashaf. You weren't kidding, it was a long spell. Oh. I guess you caught Curry into a Pokeball. Yeah, fair. Just an inexperienced one, I would assume. Or somehow limited. Okay. Oh, tell us more. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, so I guess she's really good at swords. Origin. Okay. That's a important sounding name. But did she free herself? Hmm. Okay. She brought demon sword. All right. Okay, so she's weak as a witch, but she has a very powerful sword with her. Right. Okay. Kill the priest. No, okay, just keep an eye on him. He probably wants the sword. I mean, let's be honest here. Oh, is Ashaf looking for her, or... She's not even using the sword, just has it on her back. I guess that's what was inside of the... yeah. Well, she hasn't used it. Okay, I guess that's why. She just carries it around. uh, you need to get Guido a leash and a collar, honestly. Especially Guido. Well, Guido is, but only on a principle. She doesn't like have anything against you specifically. Priest? Oh, sword. You sound like a nice guy. Duh. I like them. I hope they live. Mm-hmm. She probably didn't do that. Right, so it was the priest, wasn't it? It absolutely was the priest. 100%. I like this sword. He likes to have fun. Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense, actually. Why put themselves in harm's way if they can just use essentially puppets? Yellow eyes, sure enough. I have to go it alone? Did they stop paying the translators as well? Yeah. Okay. I'm glad that Guido can also be reasonable. Guido? Oh, no, Matt. Matty boy, hello. So he's the source of the cold, then. I thought it's usually associated with witches, but I guess only because Fanora was creating cold, and she's a necromancer, so it's not, like, inherent to witches. Credits. Credits. Ah. Good episode. I mean, I very much do enjoy the story and the characters and all that. But what the fuck happened to art in this episode? It really took a massive hit. Like, this anime never was, like, high, high budget in the first place. But this is, like, worse. Hmm. Let me check real quick the studio. I mean, it's probably not gonna tell me anything, but just in case, I guess. Okay. The Witch and the Demon Sword Act 2. Not the final act, so we're getting like at least 3 episodes out of it. Regardless, let's watch it again, yada yada. Studio. Yokohama Animation Lab. They made like decent stuff, I think. No, not really. I mean, Miru Tais, Getsuyobi no Tawa Season 2, some Azure Lane minis. Tensai Oji, that was a decent anime from what I hear. Amazing manga, by the way, go and read it. Rail Romanesque, haven't seen that one. Okay, sure. No, like, particularly high... I don't know, high... whatever anime, I guess. No, those scenes must have been outsourced, probably to some South Korean studio or Chinese sweatshop or something like that. Because they really don't seem like the style of the studio. Regardless. Equites consecrati. Do we get the translation to that? Oh no, just the Paladin Corps. I guess that's what Equites consecrati means. And they are the army essentially, of this world, the magical army. The peacekeeping paladin corps has a dark side that never enters the public eye. I wonder what is that dark side. Yeah, I'm glad that we are back with Ashap and Guido. I really like this room. Like, I really, really like it. The books, the, like, vine on one wall, the monstera on this wall, some, I know, some other plants. I like the amount of plants in this place. I wonder if it's somewhere that they actually, like, live on the daily, or is it just a place that they rented for the time of this mission? I don't know, but I like this place. Meat with a salad and with toast, right? You gotta have a complete meal. And I really, really like Ashaf. I said it time and again, he's probably my favorite character in this show. I like how just completely and utterly chill he is at every single moment. I just love it. String of bodies sliced to ribbons, seemingly by a witch's hand. Seemingly. They would never miss a witch case on the third continent. Unfortunately, our mission is to make contact with the witch. Right, this is interesting that their mission is to make contact. So their organization must know or think or suspect that it's not the witch who's behind those murders. Meanwhile, the Paladin Corps just enters and kills indiscriminately. They don't, you know, they don't try to uncover the truth. They don't try to conduct an investigation. They see a witch, they kill a witch. That's it. Not looking at any, collateral damage. None of that. Yeah, what... Like, here I was able to, I guess, excuse the art style, the extremely pointy nose that Guido has, the complete lack of detail on Ashaf's face, because, okay, there's plenty other people in the background, I guess they used their budget on that. But then they are also high quality and just straight up off model. Like, Guido here is just off model. She's pudgy, her eyes are less sharp, right? She's just off model here. Just like someone bought a draw anime style book and they went through the first 5 exercises and this is the face that they drew, right? Like, I'm sorry. Like, the artists, the animators behind it, they're probably great and amazing, and it was just the lack of time or the lack of budget or whatever. But it really looks like my first anime girl kind of drawing you would find on Tumblr in the early 2000s. Sorry. That's just how it looks. Right? It's lacking those heavy lines, the heavy eyeliner, the heavy eyelashes. Even the shape of the pendant is different, notice. It's a tear here. It's a gem, more gem-like here. Huge eyes on her right now. Yeah, it just looks bad. It just looks bad. Yeah, my grandmother lives here. I can't reach her. I'm a mage who lives here. This is a nice system. You just put it to a piece of magic paper and it shows everything about you. We have like curiously, we have not a very, kind of similar system in Poland. You have an app on your phone that just works as your ID. You turn it on, you unlock it with your fingerprint, you press QR code, display QR code, and whenever they need your ID, I know when you're buying alcohol in a store or an energy drink at a store, or when you need to do anything in a I don't know, whatever government office or whatever, you just show them the QR code, they just scan it and they know who you are. Cool system. I fucking love how heavily, like, what's the English word for it? Informatized? No, that can't be the correct word. Like heavily ITized Poland is in general. We have amazing banking systems. We have amazing, like, you don't need a driver's license. You have it in your app. You don't need paper prescriptions from your doctor. You have it in your app. Everything is there. It's great. It's cool. Siando la Mim 26 Andy Sex plus Hdle. Yes. The coffin has a branding of the church, right? A permit. It proves that I have no room to smuggle anything illegal in it. Interesting that there would be like a specific brand for, yeah, it's a coffin, but it's full. And it will remain full, and he's not going to be able to smuggle anything inside. And now we are back on model. Now we have good art again. It has to be that those like less important scenes, when they are seen from afar, they've just been outsourced for the lack of time or for the lack of budget or whatever. Because other than that, like, this show has good art style. It really does. It's not like super ultra amazing, right? It's not free ren, but it's above average. And apparently he's the cause of all the cold. And yeah, again, if there's anything that Helsing taught me is that you do not trust motherfuckers like this. You do not. This is cool. This is just amazing. I love this little detail. How do the paladins operate? Do they, like, get a building in the city to make their HQ? Do they have HQs in different cities? Do they have a big car or a boat or something? No. A floating fucking castle. That's what they operate out of. That's great. I love it. I really, really do. And they just put up wards and closing the city so that the witch cannot escape. That's cool. And they evacuated all the people from the area. That's also super cool. I like how they operate. I like how it just, works. For the lack of a better term, it's realistic, right? They cordon off the area, they remove the civilians, then they can go bonkers. They don't have to worry about, like, property damage or anything like that. Right? It's cool. Even if we did break them, the paladins would detect it. Thankfully, Ashaf has a particular set of skills. And here's the witch. The witch who we are immediately sympathetic towards. Right? I don't wanna die yet, I haven't had a boyfriend yet. Ha! She's funny, right? She's sympathetic. We like her immediately. She's not scheming, she's not killing those paladins with glee. No, she's running away, she's on the defense. It really tells us that we should sympathize with her. Decent looking CG swords, I gotta say. I guess maybe that's where the budget went. The swords and stuff. I don't know. 170 centimeters tall, long black hair. Ultoma, that's a new keyword. Ultoma is apparently the brand tattoo thingamajig that witches have, and it apparently denotes their lineage. Interesting. She always carries a tubular leather case. And yeah, Guido and Ashaf are now involved. No, I think this is where the budget went. Towards the fight. Because it's like an actually good fight. I like it. It has good choreography, it has good, like, use of space, right? Spatial awareness. The use of the environment. It's cool. It's a really cool fight. And Guido channeling her inner Zoro. Like, she's a little confused, but she's got the spirit. That's great. That's great. And here comes Ashaf. With that was a long spell, and it really was a long fucking spell. It's like a Twitter meme rank of like a spell, just a wall of text. Get compressed. That's a very useful spell. And I guess that explains how he can carry multiple bodies inside of the coffin, right? He just compresses a witch, puts it into the coffin, and he carries them like Pokemon. I choose you, Helga Velvet. And yeah, I like that Guido is, all things considered, reasonable, right? She can't be the one I'm looking for, because the one I'm looking for is strong, and she just got compressed just like that. No problem. She can wield her full power. Yeah. I recognized what type of witch she was the moment I saw her Ultoma. Right. Witch's mark. Her Ultima takes the shape of swords. Origin. That sounds like a very important name. Right? Origin. Immediately comes to mind the original witch, the first witch. Right? The witch that all other witches are descendant from. Dauntless. Quena Velvet. Well, that tells us nothing, but Dauntless, Origin, right? Very lofty titles. Helga Velvet. Her entire lineage has very little in the way of combat ability, but I guess they are exceptional in that they are in possession of a demonic sword. That's what gives them the power? Maybe. While she may be the weakest, she possesses the ability to destroy the world. Not so much her as much as the sword. Right, makes sense. It grants its wielder the power to rule the world and brings ruin to everything else. It simply has too much mass. Okay, so it's because of the sword that's very heavy that his compression spell doesn't work. Not necessarily because it's just so powerful or something. Gotcha. Once unsheathed, it becomes too much for anyone to handle, even a witch. So it's dangerous to use. So she's weak, and she can't just utilize the sword because the sword would just consume her. Makes sense. Stronger than me? Oh, I don't know. Who can say? Maybe stronger, maybe not. We'll see. Wouldn't surprise me if in the next episode Guido just wielded that sword and managed to do that. Guido is fucking strong. This is great. Like, Guido is just jumping out like a fucking angry Rottweiler. Meanwhile, Ashaf is like, down, boy, stay, don't chase that squirrel. uh, and yeah, this was the only way we could facilitate the talk. And the sword also talks and immediately becomes endearing. Immediately we get like some sort of a mentor-student relationship kind of sort of deal between the sword and Velvet, right? That's the vibe I'm getting. Ashgan is the nagging parent, and Helga is the rebellious daughter. Right, there's sort of a dynamic between them. Yeah, this incident gone with... Right, I gotta note down that it was probably the fucking priest who committed the murders. For what reason? I don't know. But it was probably him. Majo to Yajuu, where are you? There we go. Majo to Yajuu. The priest is responsible for murders. For some reason. If you did that, why hesitate now? Yeah. She really doesn't feel like someone who would just indiscriminately kill innocent people. She was probably living here peacefully. The priest caught whiff of her being here, and to make the Paladin Corps arrive here, he committed the murders so that they take notice and think that it's the witch, or I don't know, something like that. And yeah, we can help you. The sword is strong. The sword is smart. It knows what's going on. It knows what Helga should do, and he's correct. He's absolutely correct. Those are CG, I would bet, but they look good. There isn't much detail. There isn't any patterns. There isn't any gradients. None of that. That's how you use CG, right? You use it for things that just look completely inconspicuous. Or maybe they aren't CG. Who knows? Not animated on once or anything. I don't know, they're giving me CG vibe, but they might just not be. I don't know. And very smart way to fight, right? You can have a limited number of paladins and an unlimited number of their avatars. Let's say each paladin can control 3 avatars. You can scout an incredibly vast area with just a handful. And if the witch is particularly weak, you can just defeat that witch without ever having to exit the safety of your castle. It's just smart. Against the Seeker's guns, 2 layers should suffice. This is a very nice contrast that really shows just how weak Helga is compared to Ashav. Ashav just randomly created a shield like, oh, sure, 2 layers, 3, 2 is enough. Just created it, and they're just standing behind that shield. The paladin avatars are raining fire on them, and it's nothing. Meanwhile, Helga is like fighting for her life, surrounding herself with swords. Holy shit, I can't keep it up, right? It nicely highlights the difference between their power level. And yeah, I don't know what her deal is, but she wants to do it alone for some godforsaken reason. And Ashav, what happened to your face, baby? Guido, what happened to your nose? I'm sorry, I have to take a screenshot of Ashav's face, right? Holy shit. that looks bad. I guess it could count as an in-between. Yeah. Sure. Continuing what I said before about Guido, that she can be reasonable, right? She knows that it's not the witch she's going after, and now that she knows that fully, so Ashav tells her, hey, protect her, don't kill her. And Guido understands that, right? She's not the one I'm after. The mission is to protect her, so sure, whatever. She's not like indiscriminately going after every single witch, and you know, she didn't swear to kill every single witch in existence. No, there's just one single witch she's after. The rest, if they make an obstruction, Guido will gladly dispatch of them. If they're friendly, or at least not unobstructive, then she might let them live, right? She probably knows Fanora, and she isn't after Fanora. So, makes sense. I like that she's reasonable. Because very often, you have characters who are like, oh, witch killed my parents, so now I will kill every single witch. And they just kill every single witch indiscriminately. No, that's not Guido. She has one particular witch she's after, and she's after that witch. I've made up my mind not to let you get away again. Right, Guido using brass knuckles. She probably doesn't need them, but I guess it increases her power level even higher. Yeah, good that you're here in person means you'll stay dead when I kill you. I like Guido. I really do. I really do like Ashaf. I'm glad we're back with them. Don't get me wrong, I like Fanora and Johan as well, but Guido and Ashaf is what I came to like. They are one of the reasons why I grew to like this show, so I'm glad that we're back with them. Okay. So, as I said, I'm glad we're back with our main characters. I was afraid that perhaps this arc will be told from the perspective of Matt, maybe, or from the perspective of some other characters. And we're gonna be building this like one big cast of characters. But no. No, we are back to Guido and Ashaf. Good. Good. I like this episode. I like how we are getting this like drip feed of information, drip feed of world building, right? We now know that the thing underneath the eye has a specific name that I've already forgotten, but it has a special name and it has special meaning. It denotes the witch's lineage, it denotes her ability. Abilities are passed in a lineage. If your grandmother had fire powers, chances are your mother did, and you will, and your daughter will also have fire powers. I really like the introduction of the Paladin Corps in full. We already like had not a glimpse at them, but they were mentioned before, but now we see them in full, and they really actually make a proper army. An army that just indiscriminately destroys witches. They don't care about getting information from them, they don't care about researching them, they don't care about any of that. They are just exterminators. And they're effective at it, and they mastered the art, which is cool. Again, I'm not sure about the inclusion of the demon sword. It kind of feels like a MacGuffin, but sure. I'm gonna let it be. I guess every single arc so far essentially just introduced a MacGuffin and then established it within the world, so I'm assuming this arc will do the exact same. I'm not sure about the power scaling of it, right? Like, oh, it can let you rule the world when, well, why has no witch ruled the world then if it's so powerful? Has there really been nobody strong enough in the world to wield it? I don't know. Maybe there's something more to it. Maybe the Velvets were always keeping an eye on it, or they were the guardians of the sword or something. I don't know. We'll see. I like Helga. I like the sword. I like their nice little chemistry. I wonder what kind of chemistry will Helga have with Guido. That's gonna be interesting to see. Guido very much still hates witches, but she can be reasonable about it. So it can be interesting, it can be nice. Ashaf is always on point. I guess the only criticism of this episode would be the art. It really seems like not even that they moved the budget, because sometimes you see that they moved the budget, right? I think recently it was the case in Shangri-La Frontier, in the latest episode of Shangri-La Frontier. They had some amazing battle scenes in that episode, but the cost for that was that some less important scenes were just mostly sliding PNGs. It didn't matter that they were sliding PNGs, they didn't have to be particularly dynamic, so you could very easily let it slide, right? But all that budget from those less important scenes was moved into the actual battle, and it showed, because the actual fight, the important bits were animated perfectly, amazingly, amazing art and everything, right? Doesn't seem to be the case here, right? Like, the fight between Guido and Helga, it was good. It wasn't mind-blowing, though. It certainly wasn't good enough to justify the budget being moved, or this much budget being moved. It certainly didn't justify half of this episode looking off model. So I wonder what's the deal here. Are they just running out of budget? Are they running out of time? Have some parts of this episode taken so much time that they had to outsource parts of it? Probably. It's entirely possible that this was the case. We have to remember that anime is basically just made on a week-to-week basis. So any sort of a delay can just destroy your schedule and destroy the quality. Maybe it was either this or have an episode of a recap. I don't know. I probably would have preferred the recap, to be honest, but probably a case of budget then. I don't know. The studio, it's not particularly big, it's not particularly prominent, so I guess it can be forgiven. Especially since parts of this show still have the good art, right? Ashraf still has his, immaculate dark black eyelashes. Guido as well. I just hope it doesn't become a trend, right? I just hope this was just a one-off, and episode 7 will be back to its former glory, I guess you could say. Again, this show never was mind-blowing when it comes to art. It has some nice art, above average art. But the bits and pieces that we've seen today were very much below average. And I have a sneaking suspicion that they were simply outsourced. It's not like an internal studio issue, but rather just an outsourcing issue. Yeah, probably. Regardless, as far as the contents of this episode go, I really liked it. I really want to see where it goes next. I like the introduction of the new characters. They're great. They have some great chemistry. I'm glad to be back with Guido and Ashraf again. There was a nice fight. That was like some nice animation and art, and I liked it very much. The off-model outsourced scenes were very much a blemish, but it's like whatever. I'm willing to overlook that for the meat and potatoes of this show, which is the story and the characters, in my mind at least. But you guys, you tell me, what did you think of this episode? My reaction, my theories, stuff like that in the comments down below. No spoilers though, please. Spoilers can go to my Discord here, also in the description. If you know maybe what's going on with the production, I don't know, maybe you have some insider info or something, let me know in the comments as well. Like this video. If you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future releases of not only Majo to Yajuu, but also Free Rent, Shangri-La Frontier, Majo Record, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when I go live, because I do sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Majo Record, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube via membership, super thanks, super chats, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my one for Patreons: QB Without a Netgroup Survivor, Zayrain, Dr. Watt, Akomasar, Marsh, UK, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without having to be compressed by a shaft.